The knock on the door came just as Rebecca Morales was sliding a tray of lemon bars into the oven. It was Saturday evening in Phoenix, the one day of the week she promised herself some peace, silence, and the comfort of her own kitchen. She wiped her hands on a towel, expecting it to be her neighbor dropping off a mail package by mistake again. It wasn't. Standing outside was her younger sister, Alyssa, suitcase in one hand, backpack slung over a shoulder, face flushed as if she had walked miles in the heat. She didn't look upset, but she didn't look okay either. "Hey, Beck," she exhaled, trying on a shaky smile. "Can I stay here for a few days?" Rebecca blinked. "Alyssa? What happened? Why are you—" Before she could even finish, Alyssa brushed past her gently, dragging the suitcase inside as if she already knew the answer would be yes. Rebecca closed the door slowly, watching her sister step into the living room like she belonged there, which, to be fair, she once did, before life got messy, before they both grew up and discovered that adulthood wasn't as kind as they'd hoped. "Alyssa," Rebecca said again, this time more firmly. "What's going on?" Alyssa sank onto the couch. "It's complicated. I didn't know where else to go." Complicated. Alyssa's favorite word when she wanted to avoid the truth. Rebecca crossed her arms, leaning on the doorway. "You could have called me, texted me, anything." Alyssa bit her lip. "Would you have answered?" That stung, because it was true. Their relationship had been strained for years, mostly because of choices Alyssa made and boundaries Rebecca tried to enforce. But still, family was family. "Just tell me the truth," Rebecca said softly. "What happened?" Alyssa inhaled deeply. "I broke up with Logan. Or maybe he broke up with me. I honestly don't know anymore. There was yelling, some accusations, a whole lot of drama, and I couldn't stay in that apartment another second." Rebecca raised an eyebrow. "So you came here?" "I didn't know where else to go," Alyssa repeated. "You're the only person I trust enough to show up like this." Trust. Another heavy word between them. Rebecca sighed, running a hand through her hair. "Okay, fine. You can stay for a few days. But only a few. I have rules in this house, Alyssa. You know that." Alyssa nodded quickly. "Of course. I won't cause any trouble." Rebecca wanted to believe her. She really did. The first night passed quietly. Alyssa slept in the guest room, and Rebecca stayed up late cleaning the kitchen, telling herself she was doing the right thing. Helping her sister wasn't wrong, but ignoring the past wasn't wise either. For years, Alyssa had drifted from crisis to crisis, while Rebecca played the steady one. Sometimes it felt less like being her sister and more like being her emergency shelter. Still, seeing Alyssa curled up in bed that night reminded Rebecca of a much younger version of her. The girl who used to crawl into her bed after nightmares. The girl who trusted her big sister with everything. Maybe that piece of her still existed. Maybe this time would be different. But by Monday afternoon, Rebecca sensed the shift. Alyssa had settled in a little too comfortably. Her things were spread across the living room, her cosmetics lined up on the bathroom counter, and her suitcase was emptied into the guest room closet like she was planning to stay longer than promised. At first, Rebecca tried to ignore it. She didn't want to seem controlling or unwelcoming. But when she came home from work to find Alyssa lounging on the couch, watching TV loudly, wearing Rebecca's own sweatshirt without asking, it pushed something inside her. "Alyssa," Rebecca said, keeping her voice calm, "can we talk for a second?" Alyssa muted the TV. "Sure. What's wrong?" "You've been here 2 days," Rebecca began, "and it already looks like you've moved in. We talked about boundaries." Alyssa's expression shifted instantly, defensive, hurt, then cold. "I didn't realize wearing a sweatshirt was a crime." "It's not," Rebecca said patiently. "But you need to ask before using my things, and you need to remember that staying here is temporary." Alyssa stood up, arms crossed. "You think I don't know that? You think I want to be here?" "I came because I thought you cared." "I do care," Rebecca said. "That's why I'm trying to be honest." "Well, maybe honesty isn't what I needed right now." Rebecca felt a knot form in her chest. This was exactly the pattern she feared. Alyssa making herself the victim, pushing blame around until tension spilled everywhere. "Alyssa," she said gently, "I want to help you. But helping doesn't mean ignoring boundaries." Alyssa looked away, jaw tight. "If I'm such a burden, maybe I shouldn't stay at all." "That's not what I said. It's what you meant." Rebecca exhaled, fighting frustration. "Please don't twist my words. This is my home. I'm simply asking you to respect it." Alyssa's eyes glistened. "I left everything behind, Beck. My relationship, my stability, my home. And I thought maybe, just maybe, I had a sister who'd let me breathe for a second." Rebecca softened immediately. "Alyssa, you can breathe here. I'm not pushing you away. I'm just saying we need to communicate. We're adults now. We can't keep repeating the same arguments we had 10 years ago." Alyssa sank back onto the couch, deflated. "I don't want to fight." "Neither do I," Rebecca said. "But we can't avoid hard conversations." After a long silence, Alyssa whispered, "I'm scared, Beck." Rebecca sat beside her. "I know. But you're not alone." For the first time since arriving, Alyssa let herself cry. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like someone finally admitting how heavy the world felt. Rebecca placed a hand on her shoulder, feeling the tension ease between them. Over the next few days, things slowly improved. Alyssa apologized for overstepping. Rebecca explained her concerns without anger. They made a small schedule for chores, quiet hours, and shared spaces. Alyssa started applying for new apartments and even got an interview for a receptionist job. The house felt calmer, almost warm. One evening, they sat outside on the porch, watching the desert sunset turn the sky gold and orange. For the first time in years, they talked like real sisters again, about childhood memories, old dreams, and the future they secretly hoped for. Alyssa took a deep breath. I'm really grateful, Beck, for letting me stay and for not giving up on me. Rebecca smiled. You're my sister. I'll always help you. But helping you doesn't mean letting you stay forever. I know, Alyssa said softly, and I don't want to. I want my own place, my own stability. I want to stop running. Rebecca squeezed her hand. Then start now. Alyssa nodded, determination flickering in her eyes. For the first time in a long time, Rebecca felt hopeful, not just for her sister, but for their relationship. Maybe the chaos that brought Alyssa to her door was actually the beginning of something better, something stronger. Family wasn't perfect, but sometimes it healed in unexpected ways. A week passed, and for the first time in years, Rebecca felt something unusual in her home. Peace. Not silence, but peace. Alyssa had been respecting boundaries, cleaning up after herself, cooking dinner twice, and even leaving little thank you notes on the fridge when she went out for job interviews. It felt surreal. Almost too good. So when Tuesday afternoon rolled around, Rebecca wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary. She had just returned from work, grocery bags in her arms, humming softly as she unlocked the door. But the moment she stepped inside, she froze. A man she'd never seen before was sitting casually on her couch, flipping through the channels on her TV with the remote like he owned the place. His shoes, dusty, large, and definitely not Alyssa's, were propped on her coffee table. Her coffee table. Hi? Rebecca said. Her voice caught somewhere between confusion and annoyance. The man turned his head slowly, offering a lazy smile. You must be Rebecca. I'm Caleb. She blinked. Okay. And why are you in my house? Before he could respond, Alyssa came hurrying out of the kitchen, flour on her hands. Beck, hey, you're home early. Rebecca stared at her. Who is this? Alyssa swallowed. This is Caleb. He's an old friend. He needed a place to hang out for a couple hours, so I told him he could wait here. I didn't think you'd mind. You didn't think I'd mind, Rebecca repeated, placing the grocery bags on the counter with controlled calm. Alyssa, you invited a stranger into my home without asking me. Caleb lifted his hands casually. Hey, I'm no trouble. I just needed somewhere to chill until my ride comes. His tone was relaxed, too relaxed, given the situation. Alyssa, Rebecca said, ignoring him. Can we talk? Privately. Alyssa nodded quickly and followed Rebecca into the hallway. The moment they were out of Caleb's sight, Rebecca whispered sharply, What are you doing? You can't invite people over without permission. Alyssa's eyes widened. Beck, I'm sorry. He just showed up near the bus stop. He said he was stuck and needed help. I knew him from years ago. I didn't want to leave him out in the heat. Helping someone is fine, Rebecca said firmly. But this is my house. You need to ask before bringing anyone here. I know, Alyssa whispered, guilt creeping into her voice. I just reacted. I wasn't thinking. You need to start thinking, Alyssa. This is exactly how things start slipping out of control. Alyssa shrank a little. I'll tell him to leave. No, Rebecca sighed, shaking her head. Let him wait for his ride. But after today, no more guests without asking me. Understood? Yes, completely understood. When they returned to the living room, Caleb gave Rebecca a thumbs up as if approving her house. She forced a polite nod and went to unpack groceries instead of letting irritation swallow her. But even as she chopped vegetables for dinner, she kept glancing toward the living room, watching this stranger treat her home like a transit lounge. After almost an hour, she finally heard a car horn outside. Caleb stood up, stretched casually, and said, Thanks, ladies. Appreciate the hospitality. Before Rebecca could even respond, he grabbed his backpack and left like he'd done nothing unusual. When the door closed, Rebecca exhaled deeply. Alyssa hovered behind her, voice small. I'm sorry. Just don't let it happen again, Rebecca said, soft but stern. Alyssa nodded. I won't. And Rebecca wanted to believe her again. The next morning was quiet, almost suspiciously quiet. Rebecca brewed coffee while Alyssa sat at the table scrolling through her phone. Anything exciting today? Rebecca asked. 2 job callbacks, Alyssa said, brightening, and 1 apartment showing. That's great, Rebecca said. You're making progress. Alyssa smiled. Yeah, I'm really trying. Rebecca handed her a mug. I can see that. They shared a calm moment, and for a brief second, Rebecca thought yesterday was just a bump in the road. But peace never lasts long when you least expect it. At 4:30 p.m., Rebecca returned from work again. Only this time, something felt off the second she stepped onto the porch. The door was unlocked. It wasn't broken, but unlocked. Rebecca always locked it. Her stomach tightened. She pushed the door open. Voices, 2 voices, Alyssa's and Caleb's. Rebecca walked into the living room to find Caleb sitting there again. Shoes off this time, feet up, sipping a soda from her fridge. Alyssa jumped to her feet. Beck, hey, please don't freak out. Rebecca stared at Caleb. Why are you here again? Caleb shrugged. My ride flaked. Alyssa said it was fine. Rebecca turned sharply to her sister. Alyssa, what did we talk about literally yesterday? Alyssa wrung her hands. I know, but he was stranded again. I couldn't just leave him outside. He said he needed 30 minutes. That's all. Rebecca felt anger rising, not explosive anger, but deep, exhausted anger. The kind that came from repeated disappointment. Alyssa, she said quietly, step into the kitchen with me. Alyssa followed, her face tightening with dread. Rebecca kept her voice controlled. Do you understand how serious this is? You left my house unlocked. You let someone I don't know inside again. You're treating this home like it's yours, and it's not. Alyssa's eyes filled with tears instantly. I didn't mean to. No, Rebecca said gently but firmly. Stop. Listen. I want to help you, but this is exactly why I had boundaries. You keep pushing them, not maliciously, but carelessly, and I can't live like that. Alyssa wiped her face with her sleeve. Please don't kick me out, Beck. Rebecca softened. I'm not kicking you out, but things have to change today. Alyssa nodded weakly. I'll tell Caleb to leave, right now. Good, Rebecca said. And after that, we need to talk about your next steps and your timeline. Alyssa's lips trembled. I understand. Alyssa walked back to the living room, and for the first time, Rebecca watched her take control instead of collapse. Caleb, Alyssa said quietly but firmly, you need to go, right now. I can't let you stay here anymore. Caleb raised a brow. Seriously? I thought it wasn't a big deal. It is, Alyssa said. Please leave. Caleb scoffed, stood, grabbed his backpack, and left without looking at either of them. When the door shut, Alyssa turned back toward Rebecca, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't realize how much my choices were affecting you. I really am trying, Beck. I just mess up sometimes. Rebecca hugged her gently, surprising both of them. Trying counts, but responsibility counts too. Alyssa nodded into her shoulder. I'll do better. Rebecca pulled back. Let's sit down tonight. We'll look at the apartments you found. You need your own space, Alyssa. Not because I don't want you here, but because you deserve stability that doesn't depend on someone else's house. Alyssa smiled through tears. Okay, I want that too. For the first time, Rebecca believed her. That night, they sat on the couch with a laptop between them, scrolling through listings, planning, preparing. The tension was still there, but so was something stronger, accountability. Alyssa was learning, and Rebecca was learning to trust again, cautiously, but genuinely. The real question now wasn't who gets to stay in the house. It was whether Alyssa was finally ready to build a home of her own. 2 weeks after Caleb's unexpected visit, the atmosphere in Rebecca's home had shifted again, this time in a direction that felt calmer, quieter, and more intentional. Alyssa was trying harder than Rebecca had ever seen. She woke up early, applied for jobs, took apartment tours, cooked dinner twice a week without being asked, and apologized whenever she slipped up. She no longer treated the house like a casual stopover, but like a place she was grateful to be in. Still, even with progress, Rebecca felt the weight of a decision pressing on both of them. When would Alyssa officially move out? One Thursday morning, while Rebecca was getting ready for work, Alyssa knocked lightly on her bedroom door. Beck, can we talk for a minute? Rebecca opened the door. Of course. Everything okay? Alyssa held a folded paper in her hand, her expression a mix of excitement and fear. I got approved. Rebecca blinked. Approved for what? For an apartment, Alyssa whispered, smiling but nervous. It's small, but it's mine. I signed the application 2 days ago, and they emailed me this morning. Rebecca felt a rush of emotion, relief, pride, and a touch of sadness. Alyssa, that's amazing. I know, Alyssa said, laughing softly before her smile quivered. I can move in next Friday. Next Friday, Rebecca repeated. The timeline was real now. Alyssa nodded. I didn't want to say anything until it was official. I wanted to prove I could actually follow through this time. Rebecca hugged her without thinking. I'm proud of you, truly. Alyssa hugged back tightly. I wouldn't have done it without you. Over the following days, their routine changed. Alyssa began packing little by little, folding her clothes neatly, organizing her toiletries, even cleaning out the guest room closet, as if she wanted to leave it better than she found it. Rebecca watched quietly, noticing something she had prayed to see for years. Alyssa taking responsibility for her own life. On Wednesday evening, as they ate dinner, grilled chicken and vegetables Alyssa had made, Rebecca finally voiced the question that had been lingering. Are you scared? She asked gently. Alyssa paused with her fork halfway to her mouth. Yeah, a little. Okay. A lot. That's normal, Rebecca said. I've never lived alone, Alyssa admitted. I've always gone from one person's place to another. A boyfriend, a roommate, or you. Rebecca nodded. Living alone isn't easy, but it's freeing. It forces you to grow. Alyssa set her fork down and looked at her sister. Do you think I'm ready? Rebecca smiled softly. Yes. And even if you weren't fully ready, I think you're willing. That matters more. Alyssa swallowed, eyes damp. I don't want to mess this up. You won't, Rebecca said. Not this time. Moving day arrived faster than either of them expected. The Arizona sun was already blazing by 9 a.m. as they drove to Alyssa's new place, a small one-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood with desert landscaping and a community pool. It wasn't fancy, but it was clean, safe, and hers. They carried boxes up the stairs, one trip at a time. Alyssa laughed breathlessly as she set the final box down in the living room. This is it, she said, hands on her hips. My place? Rebecca looked around. The apartment was empty, but it held a strange sense of promise. It suits you. Alyssa smirked. You're just saying that. No, Rebecca said. I'm not. They unpacked the basics, clothes, kitchen items, the small thrift store lamp Alyssa loved, and the second-hand couch Rebecca helped her find online. Alyssa arranged everything with surprising care, stepping back after each placement, as if testing what home might look like. When they finished, Alyssa sank onto the couch and exhaled. I feel weirdly emotional. Rebecca sat beside her. It's a big step. It feels like starting over. Alyssa glanced around, but in a good way. They shared a quiet moment until Alyssa spoke again, voice lower. Beck? Yeah? Thank you. For letting me stay when I needed it. For not giving up on me even when I gave you every reason to. Rebecca felt her heart tug. Family doesn't give up. We argue, we set boundaries, we disagree, but we don't stop caring. Alyssa leaned her head on Rebecca's shoulder. I'm going to do better. For myself. And for us. Rebecca wrapped an arm around her. You already are. They ordered pizza, sat on the floor, and ate while laughing at the strange echoes of the empty room. When the sun dipped low and the apartment turned gold with evening light, Rebecca finally stood. I should get going, she said. Alyssa's face fell a little, but she nodded. Yeah, you should. Rebecca hugged her tightly. Call me if you need anything. Alyssa held her even tighter. I will, but I think I'll be okay. Rebecca smiled. I think you will too. When she left, closing the door behind her, she felt the strangest mix of pride and ache. This was what she'd wanted for Alyssa. A stable life, independence, a fresh start. But letting go was harder than she expected. She walked to her car, started the engine, and sat for a moment, staring at the apartment building. She's going to be fine, she whispered to herself, and for the first time in a long time, she truly believed it. 3 days later, Rebecca was sitting on her own couch, enjoying a rare moment of quiet. The house felt different without Alyssa, lighter but also a little lonely. Just as she took a sip of her tea, her phone buzzed. A message from Alyssa. Guess what? I got the receptionist job. Rebecca smiled instantly. Proud of you, she typed back. Then another message popped up. Also, I cooked my first meal in my new place. Didn't burn anything. Rebecca laughed, warmth filling her chest. See? You're doing it? She replied. After a moment, Alyssa sent one more message. Thank you for pushing me to stand on my own. I'm finally starting to see who I can be. Rebecca's eyes softened. I always knew who you could be, she wrote back. You're finally seeing it too. She set the phone down and leaned back, feeling the quiet settle around her, not heavy this time, but peaceful. Alyssa was building her life. Rebecca had her home back, and their relationship, after years of distance, conflict, and painful patterns, finally felt like something healthy, something balanced, something new.